In this video, we are going to overview getting started with Zoom. So we have this document here that is shared with all staff that walks you through how to get started with Zoom. In this video, I will walk you through a few additional steps to help you get started. So as you can see here, the first thing you'll do is go to your Clever portal, scroll down to the Zoom icon. So right now, I am logged in as Karen Johnson, a 4th grade teacher at Riley. I am in her Clever portal. I am going to scroll down and click on Zoom. Now, you can see that I am logged in as Karen Johnson in her Zoom account. Now first, let's go to settings. There's a few settings that you could modify to put you in a good place to start a Zoom meeting with your students. So I am going to scroll down and show you the settings that I have selected and point out a few additional settings. Audio type, I like telephone and computer audio, so they have a choice. Join before host, we have that turned off to allow the teacher to be in the meeting first before students join. I have this enabled here. Now, having students click on your PMI, or Personal Meeting ID, will allow students to go to one link all the time to get to your meetings. So over here, I'm logged in as a student. You can see that Miss Johnson has a teacher page. And prior to this video, I set up Miss Johnson's Zoom link. So all of her students simply have to log into their Clever page, click on this link to take them to their meeting. I have turned off authenticated users can join meetings. It's just one additional step for students, so we turn that off. Meetings are limited because only the students in the teacher's class will have access to their link. Require a password when scheduling new meetings. You could turn this on or you can turn this off. It's up to you. Again, I have a tendency to turn that off just to make it a more seamless experience for our students. Instant meetings, I haven't really played around with instant meetings yet. Typically, I think you will schedule a meeting, and when you schedule a meeting, we could turn off the password. It's up to you on whether or not you want a password for instant meetings. So as we scroll down here, in the in-meeting basic, chat I have enabled. I encourage you to turn off private chat. As it says here, allowing meeting participants to send a private one-on-one message to another participant. So I recommend turning that off. Saving chats might be a nice thing if you want to reference it after the meeting ends. File transfer, I haven't played around with this, but it might be nice to allow teachers and students to share files when in a meeting. Allow hosts to put attendee on hold. Allow hosts to temporarily remove an attendee from a meeting. That might be a good thing to have on in case, for whatever reason, you have to have a student leave a meeting. The share screen, I recommend that you have host only to share screen, at least while you get started with Zoom. Maybe in the future you want all participants to have the ability to share their screen. To start off, I think host only would be a good setting to have in place. So those are just a few of the settings that I think are important for you to review and be aware of prior to scheduling your first meeting. Now to schedule a meeting, at the top you see schedule a meeting. So I'm going to click on that. The topic or the name of the meeting, I will say my first meeting. When, so we'll say March 29th at, we'll say 6:30. At 6:30 p.m. We'll say the meeting is 30 minutes long. The time zone, you can just double click and start typing Central. Make it a little easier to find the Central time zone. Now we did this personal meeting here. So it's not going to be a code or a URL that's generated. We're using the personal meeting ID. And remember, we took that personal meeting ID or URL and placed it right here. So students simply have to go to their Clever page, click on this link that you create to join the meeting. Now remember, this is something that the teacher has to set up. On our Getting Started page, this video here shows you how to link your personal meeting URL to your Clever page. Require meeting password, again, we're not having that checked. Video, I have host and participant so everyone can see each other. Audio, remember we selected both. So the settings that we selected just have the default set to this. Meeting options, we don't want to have students join before host. Of course, this is something that you can change, but this is just what I would recommend. Mute participants upon entry. So as soon as they join the meeting, everyone can't hear one another. They're automatically muted. Enable waiting room. So this is when a student joins prior to a teacher joining. They're in a waiting room. Then the teacher has to individually allow each participant to join the meeting. Once you have everything set, you can hit save. Now we can see at March 29th at 6:30, we have this meeting scheduled. Now we can go ahead and start this meeting ahead of time if you would like. This time, date, and time, you'll have to communicate to your students in some way so they know when you are expecting them to join the Zoom meeting. So I'm going to go ahead and hit start meeting, even though it's ahead of the meeting time. Open Zoom, so I'm going to go ahead and open it. Now, since I already have Zoom on my computer, if this is the first time you are using Zoom, you might have to install it on your computer. I'm going to click Open Zoom. I'm going to say Join with Computer Audio. Now, I'm going to click over here on the Students Clever page. So I am logged in as a student. I'm going to come over here and click on Miss Johnson's Zoom. So I'm going to actually hit cancel here. Now, if students are using their Chromebook, they won't get this prompt here. I am on my Mac, which is not mimicking what a student typically will experience. I'm going to hit cancel. Now, students are actually going to see something here that says install extension. A student's going to click on join from your browser. The reason we set this up and we want students to do this is they don't have to install any application, extension, or app. They simply have to join from your browser. Again, typically students will be using Chromebooks, but maybe they're using a different device. So they could hit join from your browser, type in your name. Now students can type in anything there, just a warning there, but the student's name is Brianna. I'm going to click join. Now it says, please wait, the meeting host will let you in soon. So I'm going to come back to my screen here, and it says, Brianna has entered the waiting room for this meeting. You can say admit or see waiting room. I will say admit. So now we can see here that I'm going to come back to the student screen. I'm going to say joined by audio. I'm going to turn off the microphone there and say allow. So as you can see, the microphone is muted and the video is muted. So I'm going to say unmute and unmute. There's going to be several prompts regarding access to the camera, access to audio. We're going to go ahead and say allow. Now, if we are over here, we can see that I believe this is, it's kind of confusing when I'm on the same screen, but as your students join, you should be able to see all your students as well as they can see you and the other students that join the meeting. At any time, you can stop the video or you can mute yourself. And the same thing, the students can stop the video or mute themselves at any time. So that is just a quick video on how to get up and running with your Zoom account. It's important that you read through this whole Getting Started with Zoom document to familiarize yourself. It will definitely be a process until you become comfortable and confident using this tool. But I think this is an amazing tool to keep students engaged, to keep them connected, and keep them having that sense of classroom and community even when they're not physically together.